Hey, what is up? What's happening? Greetings. Hello, hello, hello. What is up? What's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Free Coaching Friday. Let's go, Spirit Fingers. Let's make it happen. LATSGO. Yes. Today is all about you and where can I help you? Free Coaching Fridays, where you bring your questions and I will give you my best wisdom that I possess. Hopefully, that will be helpful to you. We got Whitney, we got Janae, we got Lux Lefty. That's fun. That's a fun name. What's up, Kayla? Kumri, what's happening? What's up? Welcome to Free Coaching Friday. We got Rich. Saw you this morning. Karen, Christine. Who else we got? We got Zach. Zach in Thailand. We got Jack Lewis. What's going on? Karen, Alan, what's up? All right. All right, Aruski. So here's how this is going to go. We'll take about the next 30 minutes to answer whatever questions you got. Sales, marketing, mindset, money, whatever you think I can help with. Dealer's choice. Choose your adventure. You can ask me whatever you want, and I will give you my very best answer that I can possibly conjure up, and we'll have some fun. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing my once a month Rank Maker Lifer group coaching. If you are, and that is on Zoom, so I'll be seeing you face to face. We will go 1 hour with our Rank Maker Lifers. And if you want to learn more about Rank Maker Lifer, here's the cool thing about Lifer. We have lifers that have been lifers for 9 years. they've literally had, I mean, what does that even equate to? 9 years times 12. Like, they have had all kinds of goodies for one price they paid one time 9 years ago. And so super fun, super fun. All right, so let me take a look. Again, if you want to check out Lifer, it's higdongroup.com/Lifer. But feel free, go ahead, post your questions, and I will do my best. Okay. All right, we'll start with my friend Leah, who I just got a chance to see in Orlando Saturday. Leah, what are the best mindset phrases you that I continually repeat to myself? So I have several practices. Okay. One, I have I'm very faith-based, right? So I know not all of you are, but I'm very faith-based. So when I wake up, I pray and I thank God for a whole bunch of things because that's the model of prayer, right? Mark 11:24 says, when ye pray, pray as if you've already received. So I just thank him for the different traits and the different things that I desire in my life and I desire to represent. So that's practice number one. Practice number two, I do have a list of things that I go through. I'll read some of them. It's too long to read all of them, but I'll read a few. Okay. So this is the second thing that I do in the morning. So I go through a pretty lengthy list. I won't go through all of them, but I'll go through a couple, maybe helpful. Father, thank you for vision in all areas of my life. I just recently added this. I do the prayer of Jabez, for those that know that. Thank you for blessing me, enlarging my territory, that your hand is with me and you keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain. I go through a bunch of different blessings of blessing different people. Father, thank you for giving me more energy in all my communications. Thank you for helping me be a present and joy-filled father. Thank you for stretching me and increasing my boldness and energy. Thank you for helping me think bigger every day. Thank you for helping me be better at connecting with others. And there's a few other things there. And then the next two practices that I do daily is I do prayer walk number one, where I thank God for all the different things that I want in my life in the 5 F's. Okay. Faith, family, finance, fitness, fun. And so I go through that. I do all of these every day, like every day. And then the second phase, the second walk that I do is my I am walk. And so, I am the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. That's from, I believe, Deuteronomy 28. I am chosen. I am loved. I'm protected. I'm safe. I am a new creation. 2 Corinthians 5:17. And so I do that. And I think it's those things obviously have compounding effects. I do them every single day, no matter if I'm traveling, no matter if I'm busy, no matter if I wake up late, doesn't matter. All of those things always happen every single day. And I think by doing those things, it helps prevent all the negative talk. So I no longer have negative talk anymore. I don't have it. I don't go through periods where I'm like, dang it, Ray, what's wrong with you? Why can't you do this? Right. Like I just don't do that. I don't have that anymore. I used to for most of my life. And so hopefully that helps. Probably my two kind of favorite, well, I'll give you my 4 favorite. Okay. God, thank you for blessing me and my family. I am blessed and highly favored. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. And people, this is one I like. People love me and want to work with me. So those are 4, probably my 4 favorite. So I say those, every day as well. Hope that helps. Good question. Kick off. Oh, Leah became a lifer. Very nice. So we'll see you at 1 on Zoom. Okay, Zach Boom Boom Brown says best way to get phone numbers from cold prospects. So, do you mean online or offline? Okay, offline it's very simple. Okay, before whatever it is that you're selling or whatever you want to. So I'll give you both online and offline. Offline is whenever you're engaged in a conversation with someone, you want to create a break in communication before you bring up the benefit of whatever it is you're trying to sell them. Okay. Why? Because I'm trying to prevent you from saying too much. More people talk people out of a sale than into a sale. And the big mistake that I see people offline make is they just talk too much. And so a lot of times they will get the number, but then the person will ghost them because they said too much. You want a little bit of intrigue, mystery, curiosity. You want those elements there for them to actually answer when you reach out to them offline. Okay. And so breaking communication is something that interrupts the conversation that prevents you from moving forward despite what you desire. All right. So it might be, oh man, I gotta jump on this conference call, or oh man, I gotta go pick up my kids, or oh man, I gotta get to this meeting, or you create a break in communication, then you give benefit statement. And so benefit would be, and hey, listen, I know that you're a realtor. We actually work with realtors, help them make extra money. If you'd like, I can grab your information. I promise I'll follow up with you, see if it's fit for you or not. Let me know. And so usually they'll say, well, what is it? And that's where you say, oh man, I'd love to share all there is to know about it, but I got to jump on this Zoom. Tell you what, if you give me your number, I promise I'll follow up with you. Now, notice I said promise, because promise, who's the beneficiary when I say promise? Whoever I'm promising, right? So no one says, hey, I promise I'll send you an invoice. I'm like, God, no thanks, right? So promise indicates benefit. And so that's how you do it offline. Online, you're going to have a little bit of something going before you actually get a phone number, okay? So I am not a fan of building rapport when you're sending a message to cold market, except in online, except in one situation, and that is they tell you no. So if someone tells you no, that's actually the switch for you to say, oh, okay, yeah, hey, no problem. And hey, listen, you're in real estate or whatever. How would I know if I'm in front of someone who might be a good client for you? So with cold messaging, you only build rapport after they've actually rejected you, or they buy your thing. You don't build rapport before. There's only two places you should be building rapport, and that's offline, because that is human nature. Or number two, they reject you online. Okay. And so when you say, hey, I see that you're a realtor. We happen to work with realtors, help them make extra money. Would you be able to take a look at what it is that I'm doing? And they say, sure. And you say, I got a video, does a better job than I could do of explaining it. Can I send that over to you? Here you go. And let's say they're moving forward toward the sale. You can say, hey, you know what? Before you make a decision, why don't we hop on the phone real quick? And let's just make sure that this is a good fit for you. Here's my number. What's your number in case you call? So I can put it in my phone. So that's one method. And a lot of times they never plan on calling you, but they'll give you their number in that scenario and you can text them or whatever. So that's one scenario. Or if things are moving forward and it's a good thing, then, I would just say, hey, let's hop on a quick call before you make a decision, just to make sure it's a good fit for you. And they'll give you the number if it's moving forward. Now, I am not a fan of getting on the phone before someone sees a presentation. So that's personal preference. So for me, I wouldn't ask for the phone number before they've seen a presentation if it's online cold messaging. Helpful? Okay, let's look at Instagram. Instagram, you got any? So John Perez says, how do you get out? I don't know how to highlight this. I don't think I can. Can I? No, I can't. Sorry. So John says, how do you get out of being an informative insurance agent to the closer you want to be? Well, first of all, just know that nice, like the informative salesperson, I would consider them nice. And nice, you ready for this? Nice stands for nothing inside me cares enough. So the informative, nice salesperson, they care much more about how they look than actually taking people where they need to be led. So the reason that someone is informative and nice and not a closer is they're just not getting to the prospect's problem. What is their problem? What is the thing they're trying to solve? Because if you get to the problem, they will buy your solution. But if you're just trying to be informative about your solution, no one cares. No one cares. No one cares about your water. No one cares about your insurance. No one cares about fill in the blank. What they care about is what's in it for me as it relates to the problem that I'm trying to solve. So you have to say, hey, I'm just curious, what made you book this call? Hey, what have you tried so far? What did you try that you don't feel like it worked out? Well, is solving this problem optional, or is there something you need to do? Well, if you don't do this, how will you solve it? And so you have to dig into their problem more than you express your vast knowledge about your solution. So that's how you go from nice and informative to a closer. Hey, Vanessa, what's up? Okay. Okay, Whitney, join us however you're able to. All right. Posture. So posture is, I have a definition for it because I'd heard a lot of trainers over the years, talk about posture, but I never heard any of them actually define it. And so I have a definition of it, which is one thing, but the use of it is more important. So the definition of it is the belief in what you have, regardless of external acceptance or approval. I'll say it again. I said it fast. I know. Posture is the belief in what you have or perhaps offer, despite external acceptance or approval. So when Ray is selling something, I don't need anyone to agree with me because Ray's already accepted that this thing is good. I don't need anyone to, do you think it's good? Do you think I made a good decision? Do you think I should continue with this? Or I don't suffer from that. And I just don't. I don't need the validation of others. I don't need the people pleasing. That's just not me. It's a very blessed place to be, believe me. And, tomorrow I'm actually going to release some takeaways from Mel Robbins' book, The Let Them Theory. And it's stop trying to control people. If people don't support you, misunderstand you, exclude you, judge you, gossip, drift away, don't see your value, let them. And so posture, the definition is the belief in what you have regardless of external acceptance or approval. Posture, the application, is the management of the energy of the conversation. Okay? The management of the energy of the conversation. It is not arrogance. It's not, I'm better than thou. It is just knowing what you got. And when you're in sales, know that your product, service, or opportunity solves problems. And there's more people out there with problems, no solutions, than there are people with solutions. So you're the prize. Your company, your product, your service, your opportunity is the prize. They're not the prize. There's 100 million of them that have problems that they don't know how to solve. So we don't prop up the prospect. We don't disrespect them. We don't talk down to them or whatever, but there's 100 million of them that need your product, service, or opportunity. And so you have to walk around like you know that. Okay. Now, Arlene asks around posture. She says, how would you posture the first reach out for a charity donation and follow up? You want to be real careful with that. Okay. A lot of people, I no longer, since I came of faith, I no longer share one damn thing I do about charity. I don't share any of it because Bible tells me don't blow your own trumpets so that everyone knows, right? Your heavenly Father knows. And so I do more charitable stuff than I've ever done. It's just y'all never hear about it. And I won't share it because don't need to, okay? The charities that do not get my money are the ones that try to guilt me. So if they come across any kind of guilt trip, any kind of, well, you're doing good, Higdon, you should be able to, it ain't happening because I'm instructed to be a cheerful giver and I can't be you won't allow me to be a cheerful giver if you're guilting me. Because then a part of me is like, well, am I people pleasing this person? And I can't do that either. I'm not called to do that. Galatians 1:10 says, I can't be a people pleaser and a servant of Christ. So I literally can't do it. So if charity comes to me with guilt, I'm unable to give. I can't. Because I in my heart, I can't. Am I doing it out of compulsion? Am I doing it to please them? That ain't why I'm supposed to give because, oh, by the way, the money isn't mine. God directs my money. So it goes wherever he wants it. Sometimes I really don't understand why he wanted it there. But if he does, it's his. I give it, right? That's how it goes. And so you want to be careful when it comes to charity. You want to still obey the laws of psychology. And that is when asking for a donation, what is the value? How do they feel good about it? How do you celebrate them? Most people do not operate the way that I operate, and they want exposure. That's how I operated most of my life. I would literally, I'm just being transparent, guys. I would literally give to whoever would edify me the most, whoever would spotlight me the most, whoever would give me the most exposure, right? And that translated to well over $1 million raised over a period of time. But I was doing it because I wanted to give, but Ray also wants some exposure, right? And so assume that that's how people operate. Very safe assumption because that is how most people operate. And so what is the value to them? Not just what's the need, but what is the value to them? And so, how do they get edified? How do they get lifted up? How do you help their business endeavors? How do you connect them with people if they do decide to give? How do you honor them and respect them and edify and lift them up? So you want to think about that because those are just psychologically, that's what will get more people to give than not. Again, the tendency is to focus on the need of the charity which there is power in that. Okay. But what's the actual need of the giver? If you focus on the need of the prospect, whether it's charity or business, you're better off than focusing on the need of the company or the charity. Okay. Now you combine the two, right? But the primary should be what's the need of the person? Is it that they need more connections? Is it that they need more exposure? Is it that they need more, I don't know, but, fill in the blanks, right? Hope that helps. Right, Robert. Correct. All right. Let me see here. What's up, Angel? How you doing? Okay, let me read your comment here. This was a good. Stop giving people. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Wes, what are your best tips for getting out of your head? Um, I mean, I saw your comment earlier. Yeah. Okay. So it seems like you're faith based. So, um, you know, number one, we're not given a spirit of fear. Number two, there's no condemnation in Christ. And number three, take captive every thought, make it obedient to Christ. That's 2 Corinthians 10:5. And so we're just not to stay in our head, right? We are to be the light of the world, the city on the hill that can't be hidden. And so we're called to be such shining lights in this world that people wonder the source of our hope. And so to do that, we got to do stuff. We got to do stuff. And so this is, most people I don't think understand this, but this is the parable of the talents. Okay. So the parable of the talents isn't actually about money. Sorry. I know that people think that. The parable of the talents is actually about the gifts that God give you. So one person uses the gifts that God gave them to go and serve and multiply their impact. And specifically, and you learn this in John 4:32 or 38, I forget, but it's definitely John 4. You learn that the reap where you don't sow is actually bringing people closer to God that are not of your kin, not of your family, not of your flock, whatever. It's literally bringing strangers to the Lord. Okay. And so the person that uses their gifts to multiply and bring lots of souls to the Lord, well done, good and faithful servant. But what about the person that hides their gift because they knew that God was a hard man and didn't reap where he didn't sow? That's the person that hides their gift. They were given a gift by God, but nobody knows about it because they refuse to serve. So, like we are called to use whatever gift to serve, right? To help others. And he even says, if you weren't going to do that, then you should at least work for a banker and earn interest. And what I believe that means is you should at least work for someone who is using their gifts. So if you see someone who is multiplying and using their gifts to serve others, and you're just not sure how to do it, you should work for them. You should get a job underneath them or be an apprentice or something, get mentored by, etc. So that's my advice for getting out of your head. All right, back to Instagram. Instagrammies. We got more questions. We got about 6 minutes left. My kids have a half day today, so I got to be at the bus stop here in a little bit. All right, rooting for you, Wes. All right, let me see. Am I missing any? Okay, let me look. Okay, what's up, Donna? How are you, my dear? What percentage of cold calls versus DMs should I be doing? Now, do you mean cold, like actual cold calls? Not too many people do that anymore, I don't think. Okay, so I'm going to guess that what you mean is what percentage should I be sending cold messages? That's up to you. That's totally up to you. Like for me, I did cold messaging until my marketing was good enough to generate me enough leads. And then I stopped. Let's be very clear. I teach cold messaging, and I've helped people become the number one recruiters. I've helped people make millions of dollars. I've helped people, just last year, help Christy in Australia make $100,000 in personal commissions in 60 days, 100% cold messaging. So I do that. I prefer leads. I totally prefer building marketing that generates leads. And so the percentage, I mean, that's kind of up to you, I would rather build a brand that generates leads so I don't ever have to send cold messages. But if I'm not generating leads, it's a go-to. And by the way, every industry does this, except network marketing is the only one that bashes it. So that's why I'm the last bastion of people. No one else is teaching it, I don't think. I mean, Todd Falcone, he has his, he teaches like the realtor, cold call scenario, which still works. But yeah. I don't know if I answered your question, but the Lifer link. The Lifer link is, when is it going out? If you don't have it yet, I would shoot a message to support@higdongroup.com to make sure they have your email correct and everything, because 1:00 p.m. Eastern is our group coaching on Zoom once a month for lifers. And if you don't even know what Lifer is, some of y'all have been lifers for 9 years, which is pretty amazing. Higdongroup.com/lifer. Okay. Higdongroup.com/lifer. If you're on Instagram, you can actually just click the little link there. There we go. All right. Yeah. So Vicky says, I know God has bigger plans for me, but when you feel that you are the oldest and you can't get out of your own way and are stuck. I mean, just read any Bible story, just pick one, pick any of them. You can pick Joseph, right, who was kidnapped and sold in slavery and then was in prison. And, who was it? The taster forgot about him for 2 years. Like the only time where Joseph really shows emotion is when he's talking to the king's tester and he says, don't forget me. Don't forget me. What does he do? He forgets him for 2 years. 2 years. He rots away in prison. And then he remembers when the Pharaoh had the dream. And so just pick any story in the Bible and you'll perhaps, get past that. You can pick, Jonah, you can pick Job, you can pick, any of them really. It's about 50 of them. And so, when it talks about faith without works is dead in James 2, it is not, people think they just read the surface of that and they think that works is good deeds, like I'm helping a lady across the street or I'm baking a pie for my neighbor. But the example that it uses is Abraham being willing to sacrifice his son. That doesn't sound like a good deed. That's obedience. Because the fear of the Lord, that word, fear, right? It's not that we're like, oh. It means awe or respect. So if God is calling you to write a book, you write that book. That is faith. If God is calling you to move to Tennessee, ask me how I know, you move to Tennessee. You don't have it all figured out. That is the fear of the Lord. That is awe or respect. If he's calling you to, run with this project or leave a project, you do it because that's awe or respect. That's actual faith. Faith is not believing there's a God. Demons believe that. And that's all explained in James 2. And so faith is the walk. Faith is displayed by your obedience, by your action. And what is explained just in the chapter before James 2 is James 1. James 1, 5-8, it says, when ye lack wisdom, because maybe you're saying, well, I don't know what he wants me to do. Okay, great. Let's refer to James 1. When ye lack wisdom, ask and it will be given to you liberally and without reproach. But when you ask, do not doubt. Or you're like the sailor of the sea, tossed and turned by the waves. You're double-minded in all your ways and do not expect a response from the Lord. So we have to believe that he'll answer us. We have to believe that when we lack wisdom, we can ask and get that wisdom. We got to believe that. And that's the trick. And so this is why I pray on every single decision, every single person I work with, every project I'm a part of. And I do think it's why over the last 2 years, I have come into a schedule that I love every single minute of my day, of every day, of every client, of every company that I work with. I love every single minute because there's nothing left in my life that I didn't actually pray for advice around, that I didn't pray for wisdom around. And believe me, there's been plenty of things that looked lucrative or looked amazing or whatever that in prayer I got, they're not for me. They're for someone else. They may be great things, but they're not for me. And so if we are to have faith, and you say, I know God has bigger plans for me, I believe that statement. You got to be willing to walk in actual faith, which is that He's got you. And 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, His power is made perfect in your weakness. So a lot of times He has me walk where I don't feel confident walking, but I know that His hand is with me and I do it anyway. And so hope that's helpful. I will see some of you on the Lifer coaching. If you're not yet a Lifer, higdongroup.com/Lifer. If you have yet to receive the Zoom link, shoot a quick email to support@higdongroup.com and say, yo, I'm a Lifer, man. Let me into this thing. And I will see you guys at 1. We will go a full hour at 1, and that is on Zoom. All right. And so I appreciate you so very much. I hope that this was helpful. God bless you and have a great weekend if I don't talk to you. All right. Bye, guys.